It's amazing though that when I asked what the best food is there, Jordan goes, their McDonald's has a banging chicken wrap, and you go, I had a double bacon cheeseburger from a gas station. It was pretty good.
Yeah, the gas station food there is a little bit different. That was kind of dope. I mean, like I had a lot of sausage rolls. They're dope, but I threw up on a boat like an hour after eating a sausage roll, so that didn't help me. So they might be a little sour to me now.
Did you take Dramamine or whatever it is?
Sure did. Didn't matter.
Didn't help.
I mean, the waves were like a movie. It was exactly how I assumed the SS Minnow got thrown to an island.
Were you on a small boat?
I don't know how to describe small or large. I don't know. Like there were 12 of us in the back.
But what were you doing on a boat? I mean, I know
we were riding up the coast to see Sleeve League, which I don't know, like fun rocks and shit.
Okay. So were you in the ocean?
Yes.
Okay.
And Poseidon was like, get out.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I yerped hard twice.
You had a good time though overall. Well, you got, by the way, hey, happy to have you guys with us. You're watching the Stokastic MLB strategy show. And while you sit here, take one single second to tone for you. Says hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Goes a long way for us. We appreciate you guys very much in advance. And if you ever want to listen to any of this in podcast form, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever it is you want to listen, we got you. We got you covered. Anyway, Josh just returned from Ireland, got seasick, had a good time, but also got COVID while he was there. And it's crazy because the last time you were on a vacation type thing was in Vegas, and you got violently ill there as well.
Sure did. Sure did.
So wait, so what needs to happen?
Same people, by the way, same travel companions.
You need to tell your wife to stop going to Taylor Swift concerts. I believe both of them were to see Taylor Swift.
Giant super spreader events. I'm just getting dragged.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, in this particular instance, we all got it. Vegas was literally just me.
Yeah, so
everybody got this one. Yeah,
your wife
like
feels bad,
6 or 7 people at least for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Glad you feel better. I mean, essentially, to be clear, you had a cold.
Yeah. The problem was we just pushed through it. So like, you feel like shit, but you still want to enjoy your vacation. So you're going around and doing things. And then we're hopping on planes and buses basically like every other day. So
did you really test?
Only once. In Dublin before we were flying from Dublin to Vienna. Katie wanted to test just to know because she hadn't had it yet, like ever. So she wanted to just know. And I kind of wanted to know just so we all knew what we were like dealing with. Because like if we all tested not positive, like then it's just like, well, why are we all shitty? Like what kind of weird bird flu bullshit do we have in Dublin? So like once you know, then it's just like, okay, well, like we know how to proceed now.
I got you. Yeah. They still have those tests out there. Would they have to dig them out of the back?
Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't looking for it.
Anyway, glad to have you guys here. Let's get into it. Happy you're back, man. We got 10 games today for a Wednesday. No early. Well, there's a 2-game early slate, but nothing of substance. So a handful of the 4 p.m. games. 2 games, by the way, Josh, got postponed yesterday. So like there's one series that has 2 today, but that won't make a difference. So just 10 normally scheduled games. Yesterday, weather was pretty wild. Today, it looks like there's some possible weather, but for the most part, Excuse me. I just ate a 3-egg omelet with peppers, bacon, and onions, some cheese in there.
Oh, I went to the grocery store this morning and eggs were on my list and I forgot to buy them until you
Got
said
it.
it right now. Son of
I've
a
been
bitch.
making I'm
Hmm.
getting so good at making omelets. I went and watched how sometimes I go online to see like on YouTube how they make certain things.
Okay.
Uh, and it was Gordon Ramsay, who I actually enjoy him, but
Same.
sometimes his way of doing things is so bizarre and out of control that I go, that's probably better. Like, no, that's better than what I'm making. Like, I know it would be, but
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I have a pretty straightforward, simple method. Tastes great to me. His shit is like, put it on 30 seconds, take it off. Whisk ferociously. Put it on 30 seconds, take it
Yeah.
off. Do this, put this in. I've never heard of what he's putting in there. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not doing
Creme
all that.
fraiche, by the way.
What? Creme
He's
fraiche,
putting in
that is-
creme fraiche.
You know what I'm talking about with the scrambled eggs? Yeah.
Yeah, they're
He makes
delicious.
they look They also look like you could drink them through a straw.
Yeah,
But
but you want to lay that on some toast.
creme fraiche, yes. But you see what I'm saying? I'm not doing all that. I'm not turning on my workout on my watch
You
just to
want
make.
a diner omelet and not a French omelet,
Yeah,
generally
but I
speaking.
not a diner omelet. Like, well, yes and no. I hate diners. Every time I try one, they stink. We have a breakfast.
Every time you go to one, they're great. What are you
They're
talking about?
horrible. I
Oh my
like
God.
breakfast, like not, I don't like pop. How do I put this? I'm not a fan of the diners that's populated solely by octogenarians.
That's the best place to
They're
go.
the worst, man. Everyone that works there is dirty.
Yeah.
The food there is dirty. I got a
Yeah.
breakfast place right down the street from me. It's the best in the world. It's half the cost of a diner. They get the food out in 5 minutes max, and it tastes delicious. I'm very picky about that.
Well, what kind
Right
of
on.
establishment is this?
It's I
Like
wouldn't
it
call it.
sounds pretty diner adjacent.
It's not though. Like it doesn't feel like a diner. You know what?
However,
Next time you're up this way, you're gonna come eat breakfast there with me. You'll get it. You'll understand it. Okay,
okay.
you'll
All
understand
right.
it.
Couple weeks.
Anyone that's ever been to the filling station was likely nobody.
Surely you have.
Every every single Saturday, I take my daughter there. Anyway, damn, I got off track quick. Oh yeah, weather. Are there any spots that you look at that you're real concerned with? Because to me right now, I'm just proceeding as if these games play. I'm not doing anything crazy.
I forgot that there was weather. It's going to take me a day or two to remember how to do any of this. I couldn't remember how to open up my spreadsheets when I sat back down. 2 weeks off now, so a little weird. Based on everything that I'm seeing, though, I'm treating everybody like they're in and everything is
So am I.
playing.
So am I. Einsteinium. It's not a diner though. I'm telling you, it's not a diner. They don't like a diner serves everything all around the clock. This doesn't. This serves breakfast, then they serve lunch, then they serve dinner. See what I'm saying? I think that's a big way to differentiate. I couldn't go in there at 6 a.m. and be like, "Hey, can I get the fillet?"
Okay. Well, either way, diners are awesome, and you're crazy for your opinion, particularly for where you live.
I used to like them, but now that I've had, great breakfast food and I make good breakfast food myself, I'm thoroughly underwhelmed every time I go.
I mean, it's not supposed to like knock your socks off. It's just like the best possible
But
way to
what
get
if I have
yourself
a place?
eggs, bacon, sausage, and toast.
Okay, but if I have a place a half a mile down the road that absolutely knocks my socks off, then why would I? I'm spoiled. That's all I'm saying. I'm spoiled. All right, let's get into it. I know he's so popular today. I'm under the field right now. I'm getting 33%. We have him around 39%. Man, I love Framber Valdez in this spot against the Marlins today. He's been all over the map, but I really like him in this spot at 8,300.
Hard not to. I've got 52 right now. Stands out very clearly. The price tag is not correct. I have him as the second best projected pitcher on today's slate right now. You shouldn't be the second
Behind
highest.
Pivetta.
Yeah. I don't like you should never be in a situation where you're projected like that and you're halfway down the salary tier. Is it a great matchup against the Marlins? From a strikeout perspective, no, not really. They're not a particularly talented team, at least not the lineup that I have projected. But to get to what I think is the best combination of upside and price for a pitcher today, I'm completely with you. You got to get to Valdez.
The strikeout matchup isn't great, but let me throw something at you. So last week I was doing the or maybe like a week and a half ago, the underdog short that I do over on the Odd Shopper channel. We're on a heater, by the way. Rough stretch in June on an absolute heater lately. So
There we
let's
go.
see if we can keep that up. Yeah, you know how it goes. Ebbs and flows are heavy, man. You got to take advantage of the winds when they're flowing in.
Yeah, for sure.
You know how it goes, yeah. So I had Christopher Sanchez higher on fantasy points last week, higher on outs recorded, and this was against Miami. And the reason for that was guy has the second highest ground ball rate in the league, right? 60%. Miami has the highest ground ball rate as a team of any team in baseball. When you've got a ground ball hitting team against an extreme ground ball pitcher, lefty and Sanchez, there's a chance that they can just work really deep into those games because he generates a ton of soft contact, right?
Yeah.
Also, Sanchez at home still hasn't allowed a home run this year in 60 innings pitched. He's gone 6+ innings at home. He has 9 home starts. His first came on April 1st. So the last 8, he has a quality start in all of them. He's gone 6+ innings, and it's crazy stuff. Anyway, Framber Valdez has the highest ground ball rate in baseball. Only one above Christopher Sanchez. They're both lefties. They both lean on sinker, slider, change, some curveball for Framber Valdez. They're a very similar archetype of pitcher. They're both lefties, and they get the same matchup that Sanchez had last week where he just worm burned them to death with ground balls. So I do think there's something to be said where, hey, the strikeouts aren't great, but if you're going to keep getting weak contact, you could see Valdez go very deep into this game, and I think that makes up for some of that.
And I hope that he does. It just gives you that extra out for someone like him that can go deeper in the game, where you don't necessarily have to pray that you get all of those additional strikeouts. You might just be able to get by grabbing a couple extra outs. And the implied total for this game is also incredibly appealing. I mean, Marlins are barely sneaking up over 3, essentially the lowest of the day. You know, you could choose between them and Toronto, and they both look pretty similar. But either way, they are miles away from the rest of the slate. Yeah, Valdez feels safe.
Yep, which means
as safe as you can, at least.
Gonna get wrecked, but it is a good spot. Also, the win equity there is huge. -225 favorites. Like there's a lot there. Clayton, people always think I'm bald because I wear a hat all the time. Assume I'm bald. Yeah, get that a lot. I'm not bald, by the way.
No,
still have hair.
Yeah,
I had a lot of friends who went bald, like started balding young, like early 20s.
I didn't really have any.
No. Yeah, I have
nothing crazy. Only one that I can think of off the top of my head.
Half the guys on my hockey team just have fully bicked heads because.
Yeah. I mean, the key is once it's going, tap out early, and then you'll never look back.
Correct. Yeah, you have.
Unless you can rock a really good horseshoe, let it go.
No one can rock a good horseshoe.
Yeah, you can.
Nigga, look, if I keep wearing the hat, you'll be bald in no time. Nah, brother, it's got the holes in it. It's the mesh. That's perfect.
Oh, it's got the holes in it.
What? Is that not breathable?
I don't know how it works, man.
Perfectly breathable.
I can't imagine that matters.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think that's true.
And how do we know wearing a hat actually makes you bald?
I don't know that at all.
But if it did, it would likely be to oxygen deprivation.
I can't right now. That's insane.
Why?
I don't even know where to go with this. The idea that some sort of mesh trucker hat is a more breathable hat for your brain and for your hair.
I think it makes a difference. Yeah, I think it does. Or hats just don't make you go bald.
I would be way more likely to go with that one.
Man, why'd you come back from Ireland? It's 11:18. We've talked about one pitcher.
This is all on you, brother.
Today it is. You're right.
Yeah.
Today it is.
For the first time in a while, I'm not the one driving us down this. Well, do trucker hats make your hair better?
No, that was an emphatic confidence that I said with emphatic confidence. That was not a question. Nick Pivetta, you have him as the highest projected pitcher. He's also pricey today. Logan Webb's the most expensive on the slate. Pivetta's 9,600. It's a good matchup. I will say though, weather looks pretty rough there for pitching. Last I looked, it was like big winds, 14-mile-per-hour winds blowing out to left field. So I suppose better for a righty pitcher than a lefty, but still you get the green monster there. How much Pivetta are you getting to it? Almost 10K.
36% as of right now. We'll see how that changes throughout the day. Love the spot. Lots of strikeouts in the A's lineup. Park is fine. Certainly limits righty power, which should help. Pivetta has massive strikeout stuff. I mean, I have him lapping the field in terms of projection. I got him 2 full points ahead of Framber Valdez. I'm honestly a little surprised I don't have more, but I think it's the value of Frankie Montas and Valdez is carrying a lot of weight, whereas Pivetta doesn't necessarily have the same sort of value profile, but he's the best pitcher on today's slate for sure.
He is. Man, it's rough when him and Valdez are the two of the top options, because both of these guys can have dominant, 40 DraftKings point performances.
Yeah.
Valdez can go complete game shutout, 7 Ks with the win. Pivetta can rack up 11 strikeouts. What's up?
Derek White to replace Kawhi Leonard on the Olympic team.
Damn. Why is Kawhi still dealing with injury? Is that why?
I would imagine. I think the answer is yes. I just don't remember what it is.
I'm so stoked about that. I don't know why, but I'm very excited for the Olympics, for basketball this year.
It's weird. I'm not.
Really?
No, because we're gonna kick the shit out of everybody.
Well, you never know.
I mean, we're like minus 700 or something.
Not even that much given the roster.
I'll want to watch some of the games, but I'm less interested in the United States and more interested in who wins the silver.
Yeah, you're probably going to be rooting for Sudan or something.
I don't think they're in it.
Think they are.
Are they?
I think so. I think Loughran is heading up the charge.
Are they? South Sudan, maybe. Is them in Japan as the 2 low ones in?
Loughran helped South Sudan, earn a bid to the Olympics for the first time in history.
Yeah. They're the ass end of all of this.
Yeah. Montas, man, and by the way, what I was going to say about Valdez and Pivetta is they're the best on the slate. They both have, even without a lot of strikeouts, Valdez still has a lot of upside because he's a ground ball pitcher. He can go deep into games, but they're so erratic from start to start. And then you've got Montas today against Colorado. Say what you want about Frankie Montas. He's not the same guy he was when he was in Oakland. I don't really know how much that matters. $7,000 is just, truthfully, it's a mispricing. If you're factoring matchup into this, it's a mispricing on Frankie Valdez. You just can't be that cheap against Colorado or Frankie Montas, because you're going to get so much ownership.
Yeah, Montas is the problem for me. He's in 64% of my lineups. He is my most exposed pitcher. The only 3 guys we've talked about.
Of mine.
The only 3 guys that we've talked about are Framber Valdez, Nick Pivetta, and Frankie Montas. They make up 150 of my 200% ownership at pitcher. Shouldn't be tough to explain Montas in this spot. The Rockies are not in Coors. The Rockies are absolutely terrible. They strike out a lot. They don't hit a lot. Everything looks great for Montas, other than the park.
Yeah, the park isn't great, but aside from that, it's just so difficult to get away from that price point. Let me phrase it to you this way, actually, right? What would be, and I mentioned, I didn't mean to talk over you, but I have 62%. So we're basically in line. What's the downside to playing Monta outside of the fact that he's popular? I'm not sure because he's so cheap.
He's 7K. It's the stupidest price tag on the slate. It's dumber than Valdez.
It is. Oh yeah. Yeah.
1,300, you're saving $1,300 more dollars, and I still have Montas pretty close to Valdez.
Honestly, if Gavin Stone is 9,300 against Philly, Christopher Sanchez is 9K against the Dodgers, Morton's 8,800, Valdez should be 9,300, and Montas should be 8K.
Yeah. Yeah. These guys are miles away from where they should be. Miles.
And then it makes things even worse because then ownership just starts to kind of drop off a cliff. You have Valdez and Montas up there nearly 40%, as they should be.
Yeah.
Then you have Pivetta at 25. The only reason Pivetta is not more popular is because he's almost 10K. That's the only reason. And then you get into Tobias Myers against Pittsburgh. Chris Bassett in San Francisco, 8,500. Like, that's fine. I have no issues with Bassett.
No.
I don't get excited about him or Logan Webb today. I think it was Einsteinium or someone that's like, how do you not love Logan Webb? It's not that I don't
have
like
any.
Logan Webb, but he's $9,800. What makes him all that different from Valdez, who's 8,300? What makes him that much different from some of these other guys that are just cheaper?
I've got Montas projected ahead of Logan Webb, so that makes it real difficult for me to get to Webb.
Fantasy points wise?
Yeah.
I actually do have 21% Webb.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get any Webb. I am getting a little bit of Bassett, but I don't have anything at the top end. Maybe that changes on a rerun a little bit later, but I'm really happy to just overload on Pivetta and Valdez and Montas, because it's not just, at least for two of them, it's not just the salary difference where like these guys are clearly mispriced and that's why we're getting them. It's a matchup against the A's, the Rockies, and the Marlins. Like, these guys are also getting premier matchups for the day. Not just like, even if these guys were priced correctly, I'd be happy to have these guys because they actually have good matchups. You're just kind of getting everything good in all three of these spots.
Yes, without question. I do like Tobias Myers a bit too. I have no issues there. You know,
I only have 6% of him, but that's because I'm busy carrying 12% of Kyle Freeland. So
I was waiting until we got one of those. But
yeah, that's the only one I have.
Myers has decent strikeout stuff, pretty much league average at this point, like league average strikeout stuff.
Yeah.
The park, I mean, what would you say? This park is like neutral to slightly below neutral for pitchers?
Run wise, yeah, but it plays up power though. I've got it at 112 park factor to righties, 118 to lefties, but neutral for runs.
Yeah, right. Just so power's one thing, but you know, Myers is in there as a guy that I have no issues with. The only 5 that I'm getting to, well, 6 if you include 11% Slade Ciccone. There's a fun one. Yo, you were away, but The Sims has been throwing out some wild stuff, and then it just ends up smashing, like giving me 65% Kiter Montero the other day against the Guardians. Kiter Montero has been $4,000. DraftKings I'm just filling you in because you were in Iowa.
Okay, thank you.
$4,000 for I think 3 straight games. So the Sim sees that, and it like factoring in ownership, salary, what you need out of him at 4K, and it just jams him. And
the old blue plate special on that dude.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes you're going to get some Slade Ciccone, but here's who I'm getting. Montas, a lot of him. And then 33% Valdez, 24% Pivetta. I'm pretty much with the field on him. Tobias Myers, 22%, and then 21% Logan Webb. 11% Slade Ciccone. Aside from that, though, my exposures are all like 2, 3, 4, 5% to everybody else. It's early, but still, that's what I'm at right now.
So we have the same top 3. Then I have 16% of Bassett, 12% of Kyle Freeland. I like your alternative dudes better than mine.
You have some Bassett, you said?
Yeah. But we can say like Bassett and Myers are like the same thing. I would much rather have your shares of Logan Webb than my shares of Kyle Freeland.
Yeah, Freeland's what, 5K flat?
Yeah.
The cheap guy I'm getting to is Ciccone, like cheap.
Yep.
But other than that, it's Montas, Myers in that 7K range. I mean, you're really not going to end up getting them much Martin Perez or Patrick Corbin or Brian Hoeing.
He'd be hoeing.
Yeah. JP Sears against Boston. Griffin Canning against Texas.
I don't mind that one for where his ownership is. If I'm willing, like, I don't think that one's appreciably different than Slade or Freeland.
I don't disagree. The only thing with Canning is, you know, some of these guys just out of nowhere, you know, because Canning's always given up a lot of power to lefties. We know that.
Yeah.
But sometimes these guys just out of the blue, their K rate falls off a cliff. Like, look at his career K rate, 23%.
He's a completely different guy now.
Yeah. Last year, his K rate was 26%. And not across negligible innings, 127 innings pitched, 26% K rate. That's a good fantasy pitcher, right? Like
he threw 1,100 pitches to righties last year and had a 28% K rate. He's thrown 750 this year. So like 400 short. He's at 17.
Right. Oh, so you're talking 11% dip.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd have to strike out like fucking everybody in the next 350 pitches to run that
close
one down.
To where you were. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like, I guess I could go and like look at matchups and everything, but he's 18 starts into the season.
Yeah.
Matchups aren't the only thing that's keeping that. He got Seattle. He's had he's had plenty of good strikeout matchups. Texas has struggled against righties though. The hope is that Canning can just go deep enough into the game.
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, I'm getting 0 of him. So probably doesn't matter. He's essentially unowned.
Yeah. And it's not like Sacconi's been particularly good either.
No.
Guy can't get through the 5th inning, for God's sake. But I'm just kind of going through some of these names, and not a lot stands out. We did have some questions. Let me ask you about this guy. We did have some questions in chat, and I don't hate this call out. I think he's probably a bit overpriced given the options beneath him. You have any idea who I'm talking about here?
Lorenzen.
Yep, nailed it. It's a objectively good matchup.
It is.
The Angels are missing their best hitters for the most part anyway.
Yeah.
They stink against righties. They don't strike out a lot. They have a bunch of guys in this lineup that don't strike out a lot, but I think let me see if I have Lorenzen. My guess is that price point is going to tamp down my exposure.
Yeah,
just
I don't have any.
Yeah, I have 1.3% out of 150.
To me, he just looks so much worse than Myers and worse than Bassett. And like, I'm obviously ignoring Valdez in this equation. It's very clear that he doesn't look like him. He's just really sort of just unappealing meat in whatever that sandwich is.
Yeah. We do have him positively leveraged. I get that. But even with that, even with him positively leveraged in the top pitchers tool, I'm still not getting a lot.
Yeah, like we have him 9% top 2 pitcher, or at least whenever I grabbed it, 9% top 2 pitcher, 7% value, and he's pulling 4% ownership. Like that's great and all, but he's also pretty far down the list of top 2 pitchers, and that's like you can find something. You don't have to give to find a little bit of leverage. You're giving up a lot of the top end, and I don't think that's super worth it.
The only guy that I would like to get a little more of, I'm talking even 10%, that I don't have any of out right now, is Christopher Sanchez.
I don't have any either. I think he's probably the most under-owned dude.
Yes. We have him by far the highest leverage pitcher on the slate.
So do I. I'm a little lighter than we are. We had him 13% top 2 pitcher. I have it at 10, but he still shows up with pretty massive leverage for me in that spot. I wouldn't mind having more. There's a very obvious reason why we don't. It's the Dodgers being on the opposite side in Philly. This is a very tough spot to want to get to him, and you're paying a real price for him too.
Also, 16-mile-per-hour winds blowing out to left center. He's a left-handed pitcher. But again, here's the thing.
You might be able to knock one out of the park with a cheesesteak instead of a bat.
This is the thing. He does generate so much weak contact and so many ground balls that sometimes it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
it's all he does. You know, he's not an elite strikeout pitcher. He gets a ton of ground balls. Look up his contact rates, like the batted ball numbers. Virtually no hard contact, 60% ground balls. He hasn't allowed it's not like this will last. Maybe today's the day he coughs up 4 home runs at home, which is why I actually have some kind of tepid interest in the Dodgers. We can talk about that.
Sure.
But he hasn't allowed a home run in 60 innings pitched at home. Whether that's sustainable or not, we know it isn't, is one thing. We know it's elite though. Like he's been phenomenal there. And by the way, he's allowed 2 home runs on the season in total.
If they're ever going to happen, today feels like the day where they're going to happen. Park,
I agree.
wind, matchup. Like,
I agree.
whether the park or the wind are things that matter, it doesn't matter to Shohei Ohtani when he gets into the box. Like Will Smith, Freeman, Teoscar,
Mhm.
Pages, Vargas, like all of these guys will have no trouble turning on one here.
You know, it's just a tough game to get to because they're so expensive, and Sanchez is still
Yeah.
very, very good.
I have a very minimal amount of this game as a whole.
Yeah. Look how expensive the bats are.
Yeah. Like
Makes it really
6%.
tough.
I have 6% of Will Smith. That's the most I have of anybody on either side.
I have one 3-man Dodgers stack. That's all I have,
Okay.
which is kind of wild though, because it's a tough game to wrap your head around. The Phillies have a 5.2 run total. The Dodgers are at 4.6, but you also have, man, when have we seen this? Hear me out. I'm not asking you to pull a specific example, but this is unique.
Okay.
Where both pitchers are 9K plus pitchers, and the game has a 10-run total.
You don't see that often.
Right?
Almost never, basically.
Yeah. Like you have two 9K pitchers, 9.5, 10-run total, depending on where you're looking. Yet the entirety of this game is pretty much unowned.
Yeah. It's good pitching, good hitting, great hitting, and it kind of just all comes out in the wash.
Yeah. I do. You know what? I think this might look a little bit different from a pitching perspective, ownership wise, if the weather wasn't as favorable for hitters as it is today.
That's true. I'm with you there.
I also think Sanchez would be getting more ownership. Maybe not a ton, but I think he'd be like 7-8%. You know, Dodgers total would probably be sitting like 4-1 instead of 4-6, 4-7, something like that.
Yeah.
We have it at 4-9 for the Dodgers, 5-3 for Philly.
Big numbers, man. Big numbers.
Yet the game's really difficult to get to.
Yeah, like I said, I have such a limited amount of all of these. Like, I like individual hitters, but I'm not sure I like any one of the teams.
I agree. Well, and the other wrinkle there is just like, all right, even if we do like it, how expensive, like how much are you willing to pay? If you're paying for these stacks, I guess it's not the worst day to do it with Frankie Montas on the slate.
No, I mean, I'm honestly a little surprised I don't have a bit more just because I am saving some salary.
Yeah. Einsteinium, that's a great question. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Greg for the win the other day. PGA yesterday, he had a 50K PGA win.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got a little promo going on only until tomorrow. Then it's over.
Okay.
Check the link in the description and in chat. Any of those links, any product, Josh, 25% off. So 25% off the lineup generator. You want that? You want 25% off the Sims, which is going to get you a much larger discount. Whether you're doing Sims Max or Sims Data. If I'm throwing all these things around, you don't know what they mean. Don't worry about that. It's super simple to figure out what we have once you go to the page and you see it all. And this is a week or a month. So yeah,
sick.
You're back from Ireland, you're back from Austria, and we got a little 25% action going on. Not a bad promo. Any package too, not just MLB. It could be any package you want, any week, any month.
I was ready to not be back from Austria. I would move there immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, maybe
it was
one
awesome.
day you can return. But yeah,
like,
check it out.
New favorite place on the planet to go.
Austria.
Yeah, Vienna in particular.
Huh.
Beautiful.
I want to go out to some of those Scandinavian countries. They all look beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like they all look gorgeous.
What's the most appealing thing to you about those countries?
The landscape.
Okay.
See, I can't have these conversations. The moment I said that, I knew you were going to pull some shit. The landscape, like Iceland or Greenland's not one of them. I'd like to go to Greenland. Anyway, check it out, man. I had a bunch, you know, it's cool. I had a bunch of people DMing me yesterday asking like how this works with the lineup generator or the Sims. Yeah. And then it's just a quick, the learning curve on these is super simple. Like, Jordan, by the way, you had the Sims up and I did my Sims run the lineup generator too. It's funny. I had someone DM me yesterday. They're like, how do I, limit exposures on Boston? I'm getting 90% Boston stacks right now. It's like, well, just go through, discard the ones you don't like, save the ones you like that aren't Boston. Maybe in the future we will have an option where you can like adjust exposures.
Yeah.
But Boston ended up putting 12 runs on the board yesterday, so you'll take it.
Yeah, maybe don't make those changes.
Yeah, but yeah, sometimes you might just want to leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
We're getting, let's see, go to stack exposure real quick in the lineup generator. Cincy, Boston, Texas, Mets. I'm getting, wow, Boston, Oakland, Texas, Mets, Cincy. So lineup generators.
I have one of those teams, so we're about to have a decent conversation.
We will. But anyway, 25% off through tomorrow. Link in the description and chat. 25% off. If you've been waiting, sitting on the fence, waiting for a promo, waiting for a deal. I don't know when the next one we're going to have is. Probably long time.
It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. Get in now, guys. There's
nothing special coming up.
And, well, we'll be running promo code Josh tomorrow when I ship MLB today.
I hope.
So do I.
But yeah,
so do I.
Anyway, what are you doing with stacks? I mentioned to you 26% Boston. These are 5-mans. 21% Oakland, 12% Texas, 9% Mets, 8% Cincy. Those are my 5 highest exposed.
All right. I'll give you my 5 highest exposed. The Giants, the Nats, the Braves, the Mets, and the Marlins.
Dude, I had to close my eyes to pay attention to those.
I get it.
Holy
I get
shit.
it. Yeah.
Really?
I'll start wherever you want.
So Mets. No, are the Mets on there?
They are.
But you also have Marlins, Washington.
Mm-hmm. Marlins aren't a ton, but Washington is.
What else?
Washington and the Giants are probably the more controversial.
Oh, the Giants against Bassett in the worst homer park known to man.
Yeah. Yeah, great spot. Let's go Nats first.
I feel slightly better about my exposures running the Sims right now than yours.
Let's go. Well, go big, go home. I like the Nats side.
I get it.
I like the Nats side. I'm not all that enamored with Severino. Not a guy that I ever really care about. Doesn't miss enough bats. Doesn't give up a ton of power, but is pulling a little bit of ownership. Like he is, around 11% owned, something in that neighborhood. I think that's what's making it a little bit more appealing. They don't grade out well for me. They grade out worse for me than they do in our stuff, but they are essentially unowned. And between Severino's ownership and the lack of ownership for the Nats, while it's not appealing, plays up righty power a little bit. I'm not surprised that they're the team that I'm getting to.
Okay.
The Giants one, I don't like in general.
Well, I guess. Go ahead.
Well, Bassett on the season, 200x ISO to lefties. If you want to add in last year across 2,500 pitches, 200x ISO to lefties. There's a little bit of lefty pop here for San Francisco. I don't love every bit of this. The park, obviously, very difficult in terms of power. What do we have from a weather perspective there? 66, so not helpful. Nothing makes that look good.
Do you ever need to even look at weather for San Francisco? I think San Francisco is just the same thing every time we do this.
Every once in a while, you get a good one.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot.
It's uncommon. Yeah.
But they're unowned. Nobody in the Giants lineup is more than 2% owned. And I think that's probably a little light for where they're at today.
I can understand that. I mean, look, if it wins or if they go off, you're by yourself.
Yes, that is very true. Like the Mets piece, we don't have to talk about really. Like they're just a highly ranked stack. They look good. Yeah. The Giants, I think, probably needed Boston, a little bit.
Huh?
No, not really.
No Cincy?
Basically zero Cincy. I have a little bit of Boston. Like I got to 10% of Tyler O'Neill. I'm in and around the field on a couple of these guys. I think they're just a little bit too owned. 10% top stack odds, 10% ownership. They only have like a 7.5% stack score. So I think they're getting a little bit too much love. So I'm using them more as filler than anything else.
Trying to see if I'm getting to any, lower owned
I
stacks.
like having the Braves today. I'm very happy with that against your boy.
Old Slade.
Yeah. Do I
Yeah.
like the park for power? No, but the Braves being a team that I'm getting to today, I'm not mad about that.
So I am getting to some of these chalky, like I am getting the Texas against Griffin Canning. I am getting not a ton of Cincy. I'm actually under the field on Cincy, but I have some.
I have a pretty big chunk of Texas in Semien and Seager, but not the rest of it.
Okay. So pieces, a lot of pieces, just not.
Yeah.
Boston, I'm just way over the field. Way.
Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of Boston right now. The weather there is insane. Going up against the lefty JP Sears. I loved him yesterday against Joey Estes. Dude, Joey Estes has a 18% ground ball rate. So when you get the yeah, with winds blowing out 16 miles per hour, sometimes
Not
you
ideal.
just got to accept that this should go well for us. Mets. So of the teams that I have, of the 5 that I'm getting the most of,
Yeah.
the lowest owned would be Oakland around 6% against Pivetta. I think that stack as a whole for Oakland is going to be even lower owned than that, like 5-man stacks against Pivetta.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. And I have a little bit of them. They're free. They're the #1 top value team on the slate. We actually have them 8th in top stack, which is interesting to see. Lines them up a little bit more on their ownership. Not surprised that you're getting there. So Stokastic has 7.9% stack score. I have it at 5.4%. So I think that's the difference right there. If they climb a little bit, then I think I start to get a lot more of Oakland, and I'm looking a little bit more like you. But right now, we have a pretty big gap between it.
Yeah. I wonder what pitching.
They're hard to. They don't have any MPEs, which is unhelpful, and their 1, 2, 3 hitters are outfield, outfield, outfield. So they're kind of hiding their easiest positions to get to at the bottom.
Yeah, not wrong. There is power there for sure.
Oh, no doubt there.
I'm looking at. I was curious. Okay, what do my Oakland stacks look like?
Yeah,
and it's a lot of Oakland, Boston. Like I'm looking at this one, right? It's Tobias Myers and Montas. So it's actually cheap pitching with an Oakland 5-man. But then it's Devers and Dom Smith. No, sorry, Devers and Duran. But also Jordan Alvarez is tucked in there as well. So yeah, actually, sorry, that was a 5-2 Boston Oakland. Let me find you a. Here's
never a bad thing to get a little bit more Jordan Alvarez. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that guy confirmed good.
Very good. All right, yeah, like Oakland, Boston, 5-2 Oakland, Boston. Duran's in that, and who's the other Boston bat? I can't. But either way, like I'm saying, Corey Seager, just some top bats in there as well. So it is possible. It's funny though, a lot of these Oakland stacks, I'm still getting to the cheaper pitching. It's not all just like paying up for both pitchers at all.
So I have 3 Oakland stacks. You take a look at them. Okay. Like you're going to really like this lineup. It's basically sort of what you just described. 5-man Oakland stack, Valdez and Montas. My one-offs are not necessarily one-offs. It's a 2-man and a 1-man, but it's Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Corey Seager. Like,
yeah, see, that's nice.
Right.
2 on Braves Rangers there. Yeah.
Yeah. 5-man A's, Valdez and Bassett, Devers, Seager, Tyler O'Neill. Like, again, going for it.
I don't mind it though.
And then what's the final one that I have? 5-man A's, Luis Garcia, Jake Berger, CJ Abrams. Like, I'm filling in those next 3 spots with really good, or at the very least, power bats somewhere else.
Clayton said the Sims roster construction gets pretty bizarre on occasion. It does, but in a very good way, because what
Yeah.
it'll do is it'll still get you to the best plays on the slate, Josh, like even a lot of times the chalkiest, but the roster construction itself isn't chalky. I think that's the
Right.
biggest misconception people have with like not playing chalk.
I think you're right. Like, I don't pay too much attention to roster construction. I just tend to hope that it makes sense in my mind. Like those A stacks, for example. When you know you're going to those stacks and you know that you're not going to the tippy top of pitcher salary, you should expect to see 3 like all-star-ish names
Correct.
filling in the rest of that spot. Doesn't really matter who they are. I'm not really concerned with what their ownership is, but just like, you know that you have enough salary that you should be recognizing high-end bats filling out the rest of your lineup. It's going to be pretty hard to like get that A stack, and then you're getting like a 6-hole hitter, an 8-hole hitter, and like some other shithead to fill out the rest of that lineup.
But what you often see with this is like people who pay down for stacks do so they can pay up for pitching.
Yeah.
And what you get with these Sims results a lot is that that's not always what you want to do. You know what they'll do? They'll pay up for pitching and then they'll just full out punt like the 2K guys that are on the slate, no matter what their lineup order is.
Right. And that's just so unnecessary.
You don't need to do it, especially today. Like that's kind of the great thing about Montas is you could play Montas in a cheap stack and you're not really sacrificing much. Like he's still in a great spot. He's just he's egregiously underpriced.
I really like my lineups. I wish Locke was right now. I just want to sit back and watch some baseball.
Yeah. This is a fun slate.
I've been missing sports. All I've had, not that I'm mad about it, all I've had is like Euros soccer, which was fun to be in Europe for the Euros, but like baseball has not existed for me for 2 weeks. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good to have it back. I want to pull these filters real quick and just look at my like 3 highest simmed lineups right now. So Boston, Cincy, Boston, Texas, Boston, I'll go 5. Boston, Oakland, Boston, LA. There's another Boston, Oakland, Oakland, Cincy. Wow. Pivetta, Montas in a Boston, Cincy 5-3. Montas, Perez in a Boston, Texas. Webb, Montas, Myers, Montas, Pivetta, Montas. So like Montas is just showing up in every. Here's one without him. My 6th highest ranked lineup is Webb, Valdez. It's an Oakland, Cincy.
Okay.
Oakland. I like that though. Like
yeah, same.
Webb, Valdez with a 5-man Oakland, 3-man Cincinnati stack. That's interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
My first non-Montas lineup.
What's my first non-Montas lineup?
I was gonna say pull that up with yours ranked.
Oh, okay. It's my number 3.
What is it?
Chris Bassett, Kyle Freeland. Decent start. But it does get me a 5-man Dodgers stack. Will Smith, Freeman, Kike, Rojas, Pages, Semien, Charlie Blackmon, Tyler O'Neill.
It's insanely unique.
Yeah, no one's playing that one.
I don't mind it. I truly don't mind that. Because the Dodgers, Freeland could have 11 and you'd be fine.
Yep.
If the Dodgers go off.
Yeah.
Like if
and the Dodgers could very easily go off.
Yeah. If Freeland just doesn't get destroyed, what's he, 5K, right? 5K flat?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like there's a difference between liking a pitcher on a slate and thinking that he might work in some lineups.
My next Montas lineup doesn't have Freeland, thank God. It's Bassett, Valdez, 5-man Red Sox, 3-man Rockies.
And who are the pitchers? Bassett, Valdez?
Yeah.
That's not okay.
I don't mind it.
Getting some
it's 1, 2, 3, and I have 1, 2, 3 as my Colorado 3-man. So it's not taking me to like real garbage. I'm getting the top of the order for the Red Sox, or for the Rockies at least.
Good park, wind's blowing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what a fun slate, especially
I'm
with
excited.
the weather.
I'm really excited for it. Especially, I'm hoping the weather holds.
Me too. Yeah, that's the last thing I want to deal with. The last thing I want to deal with is that weather. But oh guys, home run derby coming up. I think it's on Monday, right? You wouldn't know.
No,
I think it's on
no
Monday.
clue.
If you're not on Underdog yet, they have the 50% first match deposit bonus up to $250. Very good. Instant bonus, instantly deposited into your account, not a drip bonus. It's like you have this money, you can now play with it, right? Like if you have 100 on the bonus, you have that 100 to play with, right?
Nice.
None of that, like you play this and for every $100, $2 goes in there, nothing like that.
Okay.
With the pick'em contest up to 20 extra entry, 17, I think, million in best ball contest, daily drafts, all of that. But if you're not there yet, I think it's even if you're an existing customer too, they've got a free square. Gunnar Henderson for the home run derby, over half a home run. So lock that in, man. Lock that in. You know, you could laugh and be like, oh, who's playing pick'em on the home run derby? Well, you should be if it's free. Like,
right. Everyone should be.
Yeah, you should be. I've been betting heavily on WNBA. Do you know how much of the WNBA I have watched this year?
Probably a lot.
Exactly 0 seconds of it. I have not seen a single second of a WNBA game. Yet I'm betting it every day on OddsShopper because it's plus EV and the ROI in our results tool has been fantastic. If I can do that.
Just all you got to do is bet the over to Angel Reese's offensive rebounds and you're going to be fine.
Is that what everyone's saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. Because that girl can't make a layup to save her life, but she's really good at rebounding her misses.
She just gets her own boards, right?
She's like me in 8th grade.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched. I don't have time to watch the WNBA. And I probably wouldn't anyway. Like, there's only a few select sports that I have any interest in watching.
You're already not watching the right sports. But WNBA isn't going to be first on the list. I'm confident in that.
While you were in Ireland, I was sweating soccer with Ben.
There you go.
Up till like 11:30, we were sweating soccer. I guess it was what's it called? Like Copa America or something?
Yeah. Copa America and Euros are both going on right now.
This was Venezuela and, well, whatever Venezuela's in. So you would know.
Copas.
Yeah. And
you're either in Europe or not in Europe.
Well, things like that are weird sometimes, man. I
not this one.
All right. That's fair. I'm just saying, like, you know, you look at some divisions in football and shit.
It's not like college football.
Okay.
This is,
but you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes
very specific continental things.
Gotcha. I wasn't going to make any assumptions, but
yeah,
the expected score in that game was like 5.5 goals. And there ended up being 1 goal. And we had over 1.5 goals. There were 2 penalty kicks. And it was 1-0.
Not fun.
Yeah, it sucked. But it was fun. What a sweat that was. What a sweat. I actually had fun sweating soccer.
Okay, now we're getting there.
I had fun.
Now we're getting there.
Here's the thing. I would have to bet on it.
Well, yeah, of course. That's fine. You would enjoy sweats, like whatever you were sweating there in terms of that match. Like, you weren't even necessarily watching a great soccer match out. Like, you could have had a much better sweat with like higher level talent. That's when it's even better.
For sure. Andrew said statistical numbers are better than watching sports. Watching typically gives you bad biases. I think there's an element of that. But for sure. But I also don't think, like, the problem is if you're someone that watches sports, I think both of them have advantages. But if you're someone that watches sports with the mindset that all you need to do is watch sports to win, that's where I think you get into a heck of a lot of trouble.
Agreed. That's going to be tough sledding. In theory, you want them both.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
You want to watch and hope that you catch things that you can test statistically.
Yes, exactly. There are nuances to watching sports that can make a difference. And, you know, I can attest to that because I watch more football than any other sport by far. Yeah. It's just more easily digestible for me on a Sunday or like island game. There are certain things where I watch and I go, okay, there's something there that won't actually show up in statistics.
Yeah. Look, you want to have a balance of both things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to adjust my projections for an eye test, but it might lead me down a path that creates my projections to be more accurate. For stuff like the NBA, it's not so much watching it, but it's like understanding coaching rotations and tendencies like that. You can't model that. Some of that stuff is a more manual process.
I agree. Also, you
can for sure, but like when you start getting into those games that really matter in the playoffs, like you kind of got to know who's next up in line.
You have to. And if your process isn't streamlined from a projection standpoint and you're just using statistics, you can inject bias in that as well. I could look at a number right now, like a prop line, and I'm guarantee you I could find you statistics that back up the over and the under on it.
No doubt about it.
You know?
No doubt about it.
It's just, how it goes. Anyway, link in the description, the underdog. Get that free square, get that match. Especially if you're a non-legal sites or states, huge help, man, over on underdog. I do a video every day on Odd Shopper. It's a 55-second short. We're on a heater. So get in on that. We got anything else? I think we covered most. Any other stacks that we haven't hit on? Teams?
I mean, I definitely hit on some stacks that other shows aren't going to talk about. So I think if we didn't talk about it, you can safely say that we're not looking at those. Either one of us were looking at those teams because you and I are going different directions in hitting. If we both didn't hit on it,
right?
Chances are we're not really seeing it
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the problem too is like if there was a team that I'm not getting to now that I'd be interested in getting to, Dodgers and Philly both interest me because it is a 10-run total.
Yeah.
Two good pitchers, but also two elite offenses. Schwarber and Harper are back. Dodgers have an elite. Like, that's just one of those games that could go 2-0 or could blow wide open. And I'm basically have none of it. So it's not like I'm hedging. I'm just doing nothing on it.
I wish I had a little bit more of the Dodgers, but I did like that lineup that I had with the Dodgers stack.
So did I. Yeah. And they're going to be unpopular.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of Atlanta. I'd like to get more of them. That's one spot I'm not at right now. But yeah, aside from that, like, I don't love any of the teams that I'm not getting to.
I'm happy with where I'm at. So we shall see when I change every one of those by the time we get to lock what I actually play. But I don't know. I'll be hanging out in Discord tonight.
For sure. We got a live before lock coming up tonight. Greg and Eric. Appreciate you guys, as always, hanging out with us. Do you have your homer model updated?
I do.
Who do you got?
Number one guy for a home run today? Oh, you mean like, and the line?
Yeah, well, you could do your number one home run guy for a home run, but if you wanted to throw something in from a betting perspective, that's always fun too.
That'll take me a minute, but it will be very quick.
My first thought is always, let me go to this Boston team today, but it all depends if we're actually getting plus EV spots on them. Like, yeah, Tyler O'Neill's plus 285 to homer. These guys are probably going to have real short odds across the board to homer.
I'm excited to take a look at this, actually. I'm just excited for all of today. I haven't played DFS in 2 weeks. I'm excited to like sit back, watch some baseball tonight, and win. So I'm going to win.
I want to take a guess of who's highest in your model.
Like highest is in most likely to hit a home run today?
Highest likelihood of homering.
Go for it.
Okay.
That I have. This shouldn't be all that difficult. There are only 3 answers that I would accept.
Is it O'Neill?
No.
No.
Tyler?
Yeah.
No, but I have O'Neill Cruz higher than that.
Really?
Yeah, but either way, not in my top 3.
O'Neill's plus 285.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy.
Red Sox?
No.
Okay. See, that interests me with the wind blowing out there.
Sure.
What are Schwarber's odds?
Kyle Schwarber's 3rd for me.
Okay, there you go. Is Harper up there too?
Not that high.
Like top 10?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't have value in a Schwarber line anywhere right now.
It's hard to find value on Schwarber lines these days.
Yeah. So do you want me to just give you my top 3 in terms of like likelihood?
Like, is it Alvarez?
That would be number 1.
Okay, so I got number 1. I got number 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got number 3. I don't know. Who is it?
Pete Alonso is number 2.
Yeah, against Patrick Corbin. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I might actually have positive value on him too. I tend to. Adelise Garcia grading out really well for me on FanDuel at plus 340. Let's see. Lots of stuff coming in for the Pittsburgh side for value at BetMGM. Rowdy Tellez is plus 700. Jack Sawinski is plus 650. I aggressively like both of those lines. John Singleton is plus 750 at FanDuel. I like him. Obviously, these are more long shot stuff. I have value on Yordan Alvarez right now, plus 350 on FanDuel.
Any value on any of the Boston bats? My guess is no. It's hard to get value on those guys in just great spots a lot of times.
I don't.
Yeah. I'm surprised there isn't value on any Philly bats or any Dodger bats. That's what I'm surprised by, because I actually think this would be the day where I would kind of sprinkle some bets on Dodger and Philly bats in case this just ends up being one of those games that blows open with two good offenses in great hitting weather in one of the most homer friendly ballparks.
Yeah, I don't have that one either.
Yeah, I had a feeling you wouldn't. But like, if you wanted
Pete Alonso's plus 340 at BetMGM, I would go get that immediately if I could.
What's he at on? You said 340?
Yeah, he's 320 at FanDuel. I would take that as well.
What's he at on Caesars?
Don't know. Don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, you could, I would take it at pretty much anything.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber to homer is 235.
I have Alonso fair at 275. So,
oh, those are great odds then.
Yeah. I'm probably a little aggressive, but you know.
Will Smith plus 450 on FanDuel. He's plus, yeah.
I don't have any value on that one.
No, neither do I. What about Teoscar?
I don't have anything for the Dodgers.
Yeah. It's tough. I really thought there might be something there, just with this being one of the kind of more difficult games to project. Hernandez plus 360 on FanDuel. Not terrible. There's not a ton there.
No. Go get Pete Alonso.
What's that?
Telling everybody to go get Pete Alonso.
I like that. Yeah, I like the Pete Alonso call. Anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out as always. Follow Josh at Josh Engleman. Welcome back, brother.
Good to be back.
Follow me, Laffy_D, LOUGHY_D. If you're into betting too, guys, Odd Shopper on the YouTube channel, check it out. We got like 137,000 subs over there now. You guys are the best. Many of you with us. And if you want to check out all the tools over at Odd Shopper, Pick'em, betting, market-based tool, premium Discord, links are down there. So, yeah, it's not just DFS around here. Betting's getting big. Join the club. We'll see you back here tonight. Greg, Eric, live before lock, and then I guess you and me to close out the week, and then we got the All-Star break.
Can't wait.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you soon.
Can't wait.